उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। When the Devatas, headed by Lord Brahma, entered Kailasa, the scene, what they saw, is being described here. In the previous verses, we saw the description, external features of Lord Shiva. What does he wear? How does he look? Such things. In today's verse, we see actually Lord Shiva is doing something. What is he doing? We are looking here. Upavishtam darbhamayam. Upavishta meaning he is seated. Where is he seated? Oh, is it on a nice chair or some cushion? No. Darbhamayam. On a darbha straw mattress. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, this darbha mattress is suited for a person who wants to practice austerities. Because spiritual life is not without austerities. So here, this Darbhamayam indicates that Lord Shiva is practicing austerities. So he is seated on a straw mattress, Upavishtam Darbhamayam Brishyam Brahmasanatanam. There is this discussion of Brahma, meaning the Vedic literatures. Just like in the Bhagavatam, first canto also we hear Janmabhyasya yatonvayat itaratascharteshu abhignaswarat tene brahma hridayadi kavaye. So tene brahma, there also Brahma refers to the Vedic knowledge was imparted in the heart of the first created being, Lord Brahma. So similarly, Brishyam Brahma Sanatanam. There is discussion of the Sanatana Dharma as given in the Vedic literatures. Between whom this discussion is happening? Naradaya Pravochantam. Lord Shiva is speaking to the great sage Narada Muni. Narada Muni is asking questions and Lord Shiva is answering them. Naradaya pravochantam pritchate shrinvatam satam. Pritchate meaning being questioned by, to ask questions. Narada Muni is asking questions and Lord Shiva is answering. And it's not that Lord Shiva is answering and only Narada Muni is listening. Shrinvatam satam. Satam meaning other devotees, great sages, they were also being seated there. Lord Shiva is speaking and all the great sages headed by Narada Muni. They are being seated and hearing from Lord Shiva. He was seated on a straw mattress and speaking to all present, including the great sage Narada, to whom he specifically spoke about the absolute truth. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes how, see, this conversation is not something ordinary. Why? It's not some two people sitting on a park bench discussing about some their family affairs or some political matters. No. These are two great Mahajanas, Lord Shiva and Narada Muni. And these great Mahajanas, when they discuss with each other, what will be the subject matter? So here it is Brahma Sanatanam. It will be about the Vedic literatures, the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion of the living entity, and more specifically, Srila Prabhupada writes here that they are discussing Lord Shiva is the supreme instructor and the great sage Narada is a supreme audience. See, where can we find this combination? Lord Shiva, he is the, we say, number one Vaishnava. He is speaking. And Narada Muni, such a great personality. He is a spiritual master of Dhruva, Prahalada and such exalted personalities. He is asking questions and Lord Shiva is answering. So Narada Muni is a supreme audience. Therefore, the supreme subject matter of Vedic knowledge is bhakti or devotional service. In the Vedic literatures, there are varieties of information, varieties of instructions given to cater to different classes of people. There are some people in a mode of ignorance. Tamoguna is predominant in them. And there are another category of people in whom Rajoguna or mode of passion may be predominant in them. So the instructions may not be the same. Shri Krishna Balarama ki the instructions may not be the same. And there may be some person who is in Sattva Guna. So categories or varieties of instructions are there. So now, when there is a supreme speaker like Lord Shiva, supreme instructor, and a supreme audience like Narada Muni, so they'll not discuss some ordinary subject matter. The discussion, the subject matter is of bhakti or devotional service. Because bhakti or devotional service is the supreme subject matter found in the Vedic literatures. Devotional service is the supreme subject matter. Let us see now what does Bhagavad Gita say about the Vedic literatures, what does it contain? And then let us see what does the Bhagavatam say about the subject matter of Vedic literatures. Then finally we'll see what does Chaitanya Charitamrita speak about, what is the subject matter of the Vedic literatures. Everything points towards devotional service to Lord Krishna. At least Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure you will be familiar with, which is that verse wherein Lord Krishna says about the subject matter of the Vedic study. What does it aim at? Which shloka? Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyah. Among all the Vedic literatures, 15.15, sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha mattaha smritirjnanam apohanam cha Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyah. Among all the Vedic literatures, the study of all the Vedic literatures, I am the person to be known. Aham eva vedyah. Krishna is the personality who is described in the Vedic literatures. It is Krishna whom all the Vedic literatures points towards at. It is Krishna who is supposed to be understood through the study of all the Vedic literatures. Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyah. And he says, Vedanta krit Vedavid eva chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the knower of the Vedas. So Krishna, in the form of Vedavyasa, he has compiled the Vedas and he is the supreme knower of all the Vedic literatures. So who can be a better person to tell about what does the Vedic literatures contain? He is the compiler of Vedas, he is the knower of Vedas, and he is telling, among all the Vedic literatures, I am the person to be known. Because many a times, usually we may get misled when we find some Vedic scholars, some Brahmanas chanting the Vedic mantras. We get bewildered. Oh, something, whatever, different subject matters they speak of. We should check if it is not in connection with Krishna, meaning they are not directly aiming at Krishna. Maybe indirectly it may be, because in the Vedic literatures there is worship of different devatas, so many different instructions, rules, regulations are given to ultimately help a conditioned living entity to come towards Krishna. So this we should be very much clear. So this is what the Bhagavad Gita says. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyah. Among all the Vedic literatures, I am the personality to be known. So now, next, let us see what the Bhagavatam says about the Vedic literatures. The second question of the sages of Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami, they ask 6 questions. Among them, the second one, they ask, there are innumerable, many, Bhurini, there are many Vedic literatures. Kindly, for the benefit of all the masses of people, let us know what is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. They ask this question. Atasado atra yat saram samudritya manishaya. Atra sado, atra yat saram. Sara means essence. The essence. Samudritya manishaya. So as per your understanding, as per your reading and experience, please let us know what is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. Please select the essence of all the scriptures and explain it to us. Explain it for the benefit of the masses of people. So this is one of the questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami, specifically asking about what is the subject matter or what is the essence of Vedic literatures. So in answer to this question, in one place it is said how the entire 2nd chapter of the 1st canto, Divinity and Devotional Service, is an answer to this question. But more specifically, verse, I have not noted the verse, but this verse, which say 2 verses, which speaks about how Lord Krishna or Vasudeva, he is the subject matter of all the Vedic literatures. Suta Goswami says, Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makha, Vasudeva paro dharmo I think I missed out. Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makha, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriya, Vasudeva param jnanam, Vasudeva param tapaha, Vasudeva paro dharmo, Vasudeva paragatihi. So these 2 verses, Suta Goswami explains. Vasudeva para Veda. Srila Prabhupada translates it like this. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Vasudeva para Veda. Lord Krishna is the ultimate object of knowledge. This is what is given in the revealed scriptures. Likewise, he goes on explaining how Vasudeva Paramakhaha, the purpose of performing sacrifice is to please him. Sacrifices are performed for what purpose? To satisfy or to please Lord Krishna or Vasudeva. Vasudeva para yoga. Yoga is for realizing him. We find many Ashtanga yogis, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga. All these things are different preliminary steps to come to the ultimate stage of realizing Lord Krishna or Vasudeva, who is seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. That is the final objective, final stage of the Ashtanga yogis. Then Vasudeva Parakriyaha. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him only. The result of any pious, impious activities which a living entity performs in line with the Vedic literatures, following the Vedic literatures, or not following, whatever it be, the results are awarded ultimately by Vasudeva. Vasudeva Param Jnanam. He is the supreme knowledge. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport how in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna speaks of 18 items of knowledge in the 13th chapter. So everything leading to the transcendental plane of meeting Vasudeva, that is real knowledge. Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha. All severe austerities are performed to know him. Vasudeva Paro Dharmo. Religion or dharma is rendering loving service unto him. Vasudeva Paragatihi. He is a supreme goal of life. So, Srila Prabhupada says how this is what is contained in the Vedic literatures. This is the essence of the entire content, whatever bulky or innumerable books of the Vedas. This is the essence. That ultimately Vasudeva or Krishna is everything. Now, I'll read out a few verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What does Chaitanya Charitamrita speak about? The content of Vedas. Very nicely it is explained. Anadi Bahirmukha Jiva Krishna Bhuli Gela Ataeva Krishna Veda Purana Karila. Here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaks about how the purpose why the Supreme Lord created or he compiled these Vedic literatures. Why? Because Anadi Bahirmukha Jiva, Krishna Bhuli Gela. From time immemorial, Bahirmukha Jiva, living entities, have become averse towards Krishna. They have turned their faces away from Krishna. Krishna Bhuli Gela, they have forgotten Krishna. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Their eternal occupation is to be engaged in loving devotional service unto Krishna. But now, living entities have forgotten that. Krishna Bhuli Gela. Ata eva Krishna Veda Purana Karila. To remind the conditioned souls who are in forgetful condition, who have forgotten their relationship with Krishna, for their understanding, for their upliftment, Krishna Veda Purana Karila. He has given the Vedas and the Puranas. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami continues to say, Sadhu Shastra Kripaya Yadi Krishnonmukahaya Se Jiva Nistare Maya Tahare Chadaya. When a living entity who is forgetful of Krishna, having come to this material world under the grip of Maya, leading a conditioned life in the material world, Sadhu Shastra Kripaya, by the mercy of a pure devotee, a sadhu, taking help or shelter of a pure devotee and Shastra, the Vedic literatures. A devotee, sadhu and Shastra. Sadhu Shastra Kripaya Yadi Krishnonmukahaya. If a fortunate soul, conditioned soul, rotting in the material world, by the mercy of a pure devotee and by the help of the Vedic literatures, he becomes Krishnonmukha. He turns his face towards Krishna. Then, Se Jiva Nistare Maya Tahare Chadaya. Immediately, Maya, the external energy of Krishna, will release him from her clutches. See, otherwise, till then, living entities who are forgetful of Krishna, Krishna Bhuli what's that? Japati Adhare. Living entities, as soon as Maya spots, they have become forgetful of Krishna. They want to enjoy independent of Krishna. Immediately, Maya comes and captures such a living entity. So now, when that living entity, he receives the mercy of a pure devotee, takes shelter of the Vedic literatures and turns his face towards Krishna, then Maya will release him from her clutches. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya etam tarantite. So Maya will see, oh, now this living entity has surrendered to Krishna, so now my jurisdiction is over. Initially she will test him, and once she finds that yes, he is firmly established in devotional service to Krishna, Maya will stop acting upon that living entity. Then what happens? Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana Krishna Mora Prabhu Trata Jivera Haya Jnana. Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana. Then the living entity understands it is Krishna who has come in the form of Shastra, Guru and Atma. Here Atma refers to Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. He is always ready to help the living entities. He comes in the form of Shastra. He is making himself, his instructions available to us. In the form of a pure devotee, the spiritual master, he comes and internally as Paramatma also, he dictates a living entity. Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana. Then a living entity perfectly understands what is his position in relation to Krishna. Then he, like the living entity, comes to this conclusion that Krishna Mora Prabhu Trata Jivera Hayajnana. Krishna Mora Prabhu. Krishna is my master. Krishna Mora Trata. Krishna is my protector. A living entity comes to this conclusion. Krishna is my master. He is my ultimate protector. Jivera Hayajnana. A jiva, a living entity, understands this. Then what happens? Veda Shastra kahe Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana Krishna Prapya Sambandha Bhakti Praptera Sadhana. So now, here, what does the Vedic literature contain? That's what it is said here. Prabhupada translates it like this. The Vedic literatures give information about the living entity's eternal relationship with Krishna. The Vedic literatures give the information related to a living entity's eternal relationship with Krishna. This is known as Sambandha Jnana. Yes. There are three kinds of knowledge revealed in the Vedic literatures, or what we call as essence of the Vedic literatures. One is the Vedas speaks about the Sambandha Jnana. What is a living entity's relationship with Krishna? And the second one, which is called Abhideya. What is that? The living entity's understanding of this relationship and is acting accordingly. The living entity understands what is his position in relation with Krishna and he acts accordingly. As a servant of the Supreme Lord, he engages himself in devotional service. This is Abhideya. And the third one, returning home, back to Godhead, is the ultimate goal of life and is called what? Prayojana. Returning home, going back to Godhead by attaining love of Godhead, this is the Prayojana. So here, this is what? Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. So this is what is the content of the Vedic literatures. What does Veda contain? It contains Sambandha Jnana, a living entity's relationship with the Supreme Lord, Abhideya, how in that relationship should a living entity act in this material world, and then Prayojana, by acting in that way, attainment of love of Godhead and going back home, back to Godhead. This is the Prayojana. So this is the subject matter of the Vedic literatures. And finally it is said, Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana. See, in the Vedic literatures, usually as per whatever we see, the different Vedic scholars, what we find in the outside world, they speak of the Purushartha as being the subject matter or the goal of the Vedas: Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Of course, that is there, but all of them are preliminary steps only to attain the ultimate goal, which is said to be, what is that? Prema Prayojana. Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana Purushartha Shiromani. We have heard the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, that is Purushartha. Here We are speaking about Purushartha Shiromani, the supreme attainable object, that is Krishna Prema, love of Godhead, which is beyond the Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Or in another place it is known as Panchama Purushartha, the fifth attainable, the highest attainable thing, love of Godhead. So this is how in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is explained about what is the subject matter of the Vedas, finally leading to attainment of Krishna Prema or love of Godhead. So coming back here, we see how Srila Prabhupada says, when conversation happens between great personalities, here in this case in Kailasa we are seeing conversation between Lord Shiva and Narada Muni is going on. Narada Muni is asking questions and Lord Shiva is answering them. Prabhupada says how Lord Shiva is a supreme instructor, Narada Muni is a supreme audience. So what will be the subject matter of their discussion? The supreme object of the Vedic literatures, which is bhakti or devotional service, attainment of love of Godhead. This is subject matter which they are discussing. Here, last point, let us remember, in the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna says in the 10th chapter, Madchitta madgata prana bodayantaha parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna says, my devotees, madchitta, their mind completely absorbed in my thoughts. The devotees, their mind completely absorbed in my thoughts. Madgata prana, their life being dedicated for my service. They have dedicated their lives for my service. Madgata prana. What do they do? Bodayantaha parasparam. They converse about me, asking questions, answering, parasparam. Katayantascha mam nityam. They describe my glories, my activities, my qualities. This is the subject matter of their discussion. Katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. By doing this, tushyanti, they become very happy, they become very pleased. And ramanti, they enjoy being engaged in such activities, questioning, answering, discussing, describing about Krishna. Madchitta madgata prana bodayantaha parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So we need to understand how it's something very, very big thing to speak about and hear about Krishna, the subject matter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is said to be the ripened fruit of the Vedic literatures. Generally, especially as sadhakas, we hear the message of Bhagavatam, we attend Bhagavatam classes daily, but maybe because of our past conditioning or whatever, the subject matter initially may not appear to be attractive to us. Any other political matter or something, whatever, we may find it very attractive. But this subject matter, we may not find it attractive. That's why we see devotees, whatever, not very attentive or sleepy during classes. But still, as a matter of duty, we need to continue to hear this subject matter, because ultimately this is where our dependence is on. Hearing Bhagavatam, this is what purifies us, purifies our consciousness. Hearing the holy names of Krishna, Cheto Darpanamarjanam, we are dependent on these processes for for purification of our existence. So we need to do these things very in an attentive manner. Though initially it may be as an austerity, still we should continue to hear, continue to read Prabhupada books, through which our consciousness will become purified, and a day may come when by reading this, by hearing this, we find great happiness and we may enjoy associating or reading and hearing the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll conclude with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki,